Hey guys, Orlando Santiago here. Welcome back. Thank you for joining me. And I have once again my model Melanie. So today we're going to be talking about how to apply lashes. So one of the things you have to remember when applying lashes is which one are you going to choose and why. So whether it's a strip, cluster, or an individual, you have to really know why you're doing it and also how to apply it where it looks realistic and really effective. One of the things that I've chosen today for Melanie is a strip lash, right? So this is by Danessa Myricks. She creates many different types of great false lashes that look realistic or all the way to like something real fantasy. But in this case, we're actually going to be trying, I guess it's the uplift number 3. As you can see, it's not really dense. It actually has a little bit of a separation, somewhat realistic like a natural lash. And I'm going to try it. So one thing you have to do is you want to make sure that when you slide it out, you're not sliding it out where you're stretching it, because then it's going to look a little wonky, meaning the elastic part that holds all the lashes together, it's going to kind of separate and go in a different direction. So it's the easiest way to kind of take it outside of the case is by thumbing it. So you want to thumb it out so it holds all the lashes in place. There you go, and they slide out together. Keep doing it, right? So you're not tugging in one area or another where it's becoming like a different shape. See how it never lost its shape? And then just pull it off, right? You maintain the shape, and now you just put it back there, and then you go ahead and do the other one. Same thing, you're gonna thumb it. There you go, right? And just apply it back. So now that the lashes are back on there, I know I can just grab them individually, and it's not gonna affect it. Secondly, what you wanna do is you wanna actually measure. So the easiest way is just without adhesive or glue or anything like that, you want to go back and just sit the lash on top of the eye. Mark the corners that you want, but also you're going to see that if it's too long, you're going to have a little bit of extra coming into the inner corner. That's the part that you're actually going to cut out. Remember, try to cut the inner corner out, because the outer corner is what you need in order to create that wing effect. You don't want to cut that out. You want to cut in the inner part, okay? So let's go ahead and try that. So I'm going to put my lashes down, and then I'm actually going to take the left lash for her, and I'm going to just place it from corner to corner and see how it feels on her. If I can also see what it does, maybe I can shift it over a bit. When she opens up her eye, you can see if it needs to be slightly adjusted, move a little left, move a little right, and I think that's where it's going to show you how to maximize the effect. All right, so open, look down, and I'm literally going to sit it right on top of the lashes. So if this is her lash, I'm putting the false ones sitting them right on top. So it feels like an extension of her real lashes. Okay, look down. And I'm just going to press it in with my thumb. And naturally, the lashes, when they come in a pack, they have just a bit of adhesive, not enough to stick and last all day, but it's enough to try the lash to see if it fits or needs to be cut. So just go ahead and press it in. See how it looks. Sometimes it doesn't need to be cut, and sometimes it does. In this case, let's see how this lash looks. Open. There you go. So look into that camera right there, and let's see how it looks. For me, it doesn't need to be cut, okay? It doesn't need to be cut. But if you were to cut it, look down, you would cut it here. So let's keep that there, okay? And you would take a pair of scissors, and if it were too long in the inner corner, I would actually go ahead and cut right there. Does that make sense? So you're going to take that inner part off, okay? I can actually do it for you if you want. It's not going to make a huge difference, so I can go ahead and do it so that you can see how it's done. So what I'm doing is I'm taking the blade and I'm going in from here, and I'm literally trying to cut 2 pieces off. And they go in knots, right? So you can see the first 2 knots are being cut. There you go. So there you go. Up against her chest, you can see that I've cut off 2 notches. Now it's time to add the adhesive. So what I have is Duo, right? Duo is a surgical adhesive, which is latex free. Okay. So if you notice, this is what I'm doing. I'm going ahead and I'm adding, this is bubbling up a little bit. I'm adding a bubble, and I'm dragging that bubble all the way across the lash. What I'm going to do is I'm going to allow it to dry completely, almost clear, right? So it has to be clear in order for it to work. Sometimes you can add a little bit onto, for example, a Q-tip. And if you break the Q-tip, you can add it to there and then take it and swivel it around. You can do it this way as well. It's up to you. The trick is having enough adhesive so that it doesn't lift or pop on the outer corners. So let that dry. You don't want to blow, right? You don't want to do that. The reason is because now you're contaminating the adhesive with your breath or whatever's on your breath. Here we go. So now that this is almost drying, it's getting tacky, right? You don't want it to fully dry, but you want it to be very, very tacky and a little bit more lighter in color, meaning the lighter it gets, the more it's drying clear. If it's still really, really white, that means it still has time to dry. Okay, so let's add another layer. And I add about 2, maybe 3 layers just because I want to ensure that this is not going to lift. Okay, and also the more layers you add, the more they stick onto each other. So basically, you're grabbing something tacky, adding another layer, now they're grabbing onto each other, which means you're dividing this adhesive in the center with 3 layers. So now it's not sharing only 1 layer to try and hold on to the eye the entire day. Now you have 3 layers that are doing that. Okay, so the trick is where your liner is at, you have to try to stay within that liner, okay, in order to drop your false lash. So if you create a liquid liner, then you have to go inside of the black of that liquid liner and drop it, okay, in order for it not to be visible. In my case, I actually went even thinner because I wanted to create illusions, right, that there are no liners, it's all her lashes. So I even made it harder for myself because I have a really thin line to try to nail this and get it all the way in there for. All right, so I'm going to try. So the best thing you could do is lift up, right, so you can stretch your liner and see exactly where you are. Just make sure that you're not, you can go in with a Q-tip. Okay. See that so far? If you can look real closely there, I'm going to secure it. Try to have them looking down. Okay. See how I've managed to get that inside of my liner. And there's enough adhesive there that I know for sure that it will not move. Now once you've applied your lash, you want to make sure and you go back and hide the lash band. Okay. Secure it. They're on. Beautiful. Look that way. Great. So now my objective is to go back and just hide the lash band. Now you can hide it with whatever you want. My recommendation is if you used a cream, go back with a cream. I mean, it's a tiny angle brush. See how I'm literally just stippling over. And again, it's not to reline her eye again. It's more about just covering the lash band. And there you have it, ladies and gentlemen, it's gone, right? So now it feels realistic. It feels like it could be her own lashes, right? And obviously it's more volume, there's more density. It's much more flirtatious, which I love. Definitely more sultry, right? Look down, and now you just want to adjust it and make sure that you actually have the line and the liner correctly, because now you have a lash there. So you want to make sure that everything is aligned and looks beautiful and looks soft. So I've just applied this second lash over to the other eye. And now what I'm doing is as a finishing touch is I'm integrating, right? I like to sometimes, not always necessary, but I like to integrate once again with a little mascara just to integrate the false lashes with her real lashes, just to get a flawless kind of synergy between the two. And it makes it a little bit more dramatic, but also still very beautiful, right? Perfect. So just to recap, all right, take a look there. So what I've done is basically just went ahead from the previous segment, which I drew my liner, and my liner was with the cream liner just to create some definition for the eye. Now, when I went back with some strip lashes, I had to make sure that my strip, number one, was long enough or short enough, right? So if it's too long, you trim the edges from the inner corners, which are not necessary, but the outers you leave alone because that's what creates that dramatic lift, all right? Then you go back and apply adhesive. When you apply the adhesive, apply more than 1 layer. The reason why is because if it's one layer, it's kind of maybe too thin. Okay, so you need to add at least 2, maybe 3 layers at best, so that you know and are really secure that you know that those particular lashes are going to grab onto the eyelid and they're going to stay put for the rest of the day. Now, also where you're applying is you're going to actually go back in and insert it from that line. That liner that we did earlier to kind of create eye definition, you want to make sure that you go in, drop it in between that black line that you've created, because if it's above it, you'll see the lash band. But if it's inside of it, you won't see it. Then you can go back and reapply some more liner just to kind of cover and hide the lash band, okay? And once you do that, then you can go back, last but not least, is kind of take another mascara, perhaps with a fan brush if you choose to, or you can just go back with the actual wand and kind of weave the two in together. All right. So thank you guys for tuning in on this segment on how to apply lashes correctly. And thank you, Melanie, for being my model today. And guys, leave comments, questions, anything that you may have down below. And also, if you want to go back and look at some previous segments on perhaps color theory and the function of live to see where I take you backstage and bring you into my world, go right ahead and do so. So thank you once again here on my app. Take care.